This program is brought to you by UCKG.
What are you still doing here, mate? The show is about to start. Let's go, let's go. Hello, how are you, friends? Today's show, we are going to be talking about the issue of homelessness. In Great Britain alone, there are over 300,000 people who are sleeping rough. Yeah. Wow, that's a big figure. And there are so much more. We are going to be showing testimonies. We are going to be talking about many good things here. Stay tuned.
And also, call now, because at the end of the program, we are going to pray for you. 020-7686-6300. Prepare yourself.
That's it. Let's go. Over 300,000 people have been sleeping rough in Great Britain. This is such a big figure. A lot of people are homeless. They've been going through the issues of homelessness. They've got nowhere to sleep. They've got no family. Some of these people who are sleeping rough, they have family members, but they don't want to talk to them. They don't want to go back to their houses. In our pastoral work, Pastor Neil and I deal with a lot of people on a daily basis. And we do happen to talk to a lot of homeless people who come to us. And it's unbelievable. People say to us, look, I'm sleeping rough. I've got a place where I could go, but I don't want to get back to my family. I don't want to talk to them. And there are many implications. There are many reasons as to why they don't want to go back to their homes. Perhaps you are watching this show and you are sleeping rough. You haven't got anywhere to go. You're watching me now from a friend's house. You're watching me now from a hostel, from a very bad place, and you don't know what to do. We'd like to tell you, Pastor Neil and I will do whatever we can to help you. We are going to give you faith-based advices that if you put them into practice, your life can certainly turn around. We are going to show you throughout this program many testimonies, life-changing stories, people who learned the practicality of faith. And once they learned the steps to take in order to achieve a brand new life, they start putting these steps into practice. They achieved great results. And this is not fairy tale, this is not magic, this is real life. Pastor Neil, today we are going to be helping this viewer to understand that the issue of homelessness is not just about not having the resources or not having a house to sleep. It's deeper than that, because as we previously mentioned here, a lot of people are sleeping rough, not because they don't have anywhere to go, but they don't want to go back to their previous home because they have an issue with their family.
And many, because of that, they end up suffering. As we are going to hear the story of our special guest tonight, Miss Vivienne. So what's happened? Many people, as you said, because they don't want to go back, so they remain in that situation. Some people, they are sleeping rough 5 years, 7 years. Some people, they are homeless for many years. And sometimes they put in their mind, I wonder if I'm going to come out of this. Some people, they said that, looks like I'm going to die like this. But everything that you want is possible. Do you want to come out from this situation? We are here not to bring you a story. We are here to bring you a solution. And this, if you follow what we are telling you, your life is going to change.
We got a 24-hour helpline. You can give us a call. The number is 020-7686-6300. Or alternatively, if you want to send an email, you can write to help@finances.tv and we'll promptly answer your email. Now, I would like you to watch this life-changing testimony. Here in the UK, addiction is a massive problem. Actually, there have been over 50 killings in London since the start of the year. Since the start of the year. And many of these killings have to do or are connected with addictive manners. A lot of people who killed their enemies or their rivals, they were under the effect of a drug, they were under the effect of alcohol, they were under the effect of an illegal substance, and obviously they couldn't control themselves. Addiction has been a massive problem. But now, is there a definite solution for addiction? Can addiction truly be tackled? Well, I will not answer this question. I want you to watch this video and then you can find and get to your own conclusions. Let's watch now.
After I left school, I always knew that I wanted to go to university to get my degree. But it seemed like everything that I was doing to try and complete my degree, it seemed like everything was going wrong. My life felt like it was upside down. There were so many problems coming from left, right and center. I had a child to take care of. Then when all the problems of taking care of my son, being a single parent came along, it seemed impossible for me to achieve that dream that I always wanted. After I found my faith in God, then I started to put everything that I had learned into practice. And once I had done that, then I was able to use all those tools for me to achieve my dream that seemed so impossible for me to achieve. Now I'm a graduate and reaching for my dreams.
What an amazing story. Pastor Neil, it's crystal clear to the viewer that addiction can be overcome. Addiction can be tackled through the genuine power of faith. It's important for the viewer to comprehend what is the root cause of addiction, what is behind the addictive manner.
Because the tree, you see the tree, but you can't see the root. The root is there. But if you pull up the whole tree, you see the root. So the addiction is like that. There is something behind it. And maybe this is your problem. You're addicted. And you don't know how to come out of it. You just saw now the testimony. Do the same. Because as we said before, we are not here to bring a story, to talk about a religion. We are here for solution. And look at me, sir. Look at me, miss. We are here to change your life. You have to say, no, I can't stay in this situation. So you need to take a step of faith and come out of this problem that you are in. Because Pastor Douglas, many people, they are there. As we said many times on the program, the person is drowning, but the person don't want to call for help. No, someone must pass and see me drowning and save me. No, I need to call out for help. Because if the person calls out for help, they are going to get help.
Most certainly. And this is what we are here for. We are here to offer help. And you can also find help by finding us on Instagram and Facebook. Just search for Finding Answers and you come across our previous episodes. You can also watch our previous episodes in HD quality on our YouTube channel. If you like, you can subscribe to the channel and just search for Finding Answers. And there you come across all our previous episodes so that you can watch and enjoy and share the link with your friends. We go to a short break. After this break, we are going to be talking more about the issue of homelessness in Great Britain, and we will be interviewing our live guest of tonight's show. Her name is Viviane Forrester. Viviane has a very intriguing story to share with you. She was suffering a lot because she was sleeping rough. And because she was sleeping rough, she could not be settled in a place. She was struggling to be settled. Then obviously she went from living a normal life to becoming heavily depressed. And she was feeling depressed to the point of doing crazy things. And the problem is that it wasn't just Viviane herself, but she also had a son. Now imagine what it feels like sleeping rough out there, having a child with you. That makes the matter even worse. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere. This is Finances.
Pushing me for the rest of the week, so it's like a boost.
Things were really tight.
Today, the way I see myself is completely different.
Welcome back to Finances. Tonight we are still talking about the issue of homelessness. Great Britain alone has over 300,000 people who are sleeping rough. And our guest of tonight's show is Vivian Forrester. How are you, Vivian?
Thank you. Very well, thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks for coming to the show.
You're welcome.
By the way, I beg you my pardon. I owe you an apology because I previously misspelled your name. I said Viviane. It's not Viviane.
That's okay.
It's Vivian. Okay. Vivian, please share with the viewers your experience about sleeping rough. How was your life before you have discovered the power of faith?
Before I discovered the power of faith, I had a pretty comfortable life, which I thought I had a comfortable life, but before I knew about God, everything was okay. But then, when I found out about God, I knew my life wasn't perfect. And because the way I was living my life, it wasn't pleasing to God. And I was just worshipping the material things I had in my home, like my clothes, my TV, the money, everything, without giving God thanks for what He has given to me. And then as time went on, I noticed that I wasn't feeling comfortable in myself, but I didn't realize what it was. But anyway, I left it at that. Going to work, happy going to work, with my friends, colleagues. And then one day at work, an incident happened and I found myself out of work because they suspended me from work. And I find out what's going on. And then when I approached my manager, asked her what's going on, she said, well, something has been said about what happened. So I said, okay. So they suspended me until further notice. I was at home. And then after the suspension period, they called me into work and said they can no longer keep me on. And then from that day, my whole world just completely shattered. I didn't know what was going on, from having this life to completely nothing. And then as time went on, no money coming in, nothing happening. I lost my home. So that's my job that I loved and my home that I had for many years. All those things just gone. And that was my life. And then found myself practically living on the street. And then I went to my local council and explained to them what happened, because the bailiffs came to my house and said, you got half an hour to leave, just pack up what you need for the day, or any medication that you're on, or passports, anything that's ID that you need or valuable, take with you, because you have to leave today. And when you go to your local council, take this letter that they gave me and then just produce it. So I went there. I don't know how I got there because I was just in a daze. I got there with my son, and he couldn't even go to college that day because he had nowhere to go. So we both went up to the council, and then I explained to them what happened, and they said, just take a seat, we'll come to you in a minute. They came up to me and they said, well, according to what we've read and understood, we can no longer help you because we have, like many people to prioritize, and you're not a priority at the moment. Because my son was at a certain age, it was 16 at the time, and it wasn't like baby. So they said, I can't really help. I need to go and find my own private accommodation. I said, I'm not working. I've got no money. I've got nowhere to live. What am I supposed to do? So they said, okay, hold on a minute. They're going to get somebody to sort of come down and speak to me more in length, which they did. So they said, according to my circumstance, what they will do, put me in an emergency accommodation, which is a bed and breakfast that the council has for homeless people. So they put me there for 3 months while they assess my case. Whilst they were assessing my case, I was there, and I was living amongst people that just come out of prison for all kinds of, you name it, horrible things, drug users, people that steal. And whilst I'm there, I'm literally seeing people taking needles, and I'm like, I can't be living like that. I can't stay here. And I was going crazy, and it just got me stressed, depressed. And I went to my GP, and I was telling him what I'm going through and everything, and he put me on some antidepressants, a strong dose, and then those antidepressants got me even more depressed, because I was just waking up in the morning not able to do anything. I couldn't even think for myself, couldn't even cook, nothing, couldn't even go out the street, or just basically housebound, staying in the house like a recluse. And my son was getting all depressed as well, because it was affecting him as well, because he didn't know what's happening. As a young child, you don't know what's going on. He's never been through this. So he was getting all upset and anxious, and I found his character was changing. He was getting angry and aggressive because of the situation. And then I spoke to my GP about it, and he said, yeah, because of the situation. So what I did, and I said to my son, you got your friend that offered you to stay somewhere, but go there for about a weekend. You can go weekends just to come out of this bed and breakfast that week, because it's not nice you and your mother sharing one room. You know, you need privacy and everything like that. And I needed it myself. And it was just crazy, because you couldn't cook, there's no facilities, it's just nothing. And then I went to my GP, as I said, and they gave me the medication, and they also put me down for counselling, which I went every Monday for about three months, going every day, talking about myself and what they could do, and they gave me all sorts of different things to do. And when I'm feeling down, I shouldn't stay home, I must go out, I must phone a friend, or surround yourself with people. But at that time I didn't attend any church, so I didn't know about church. And then one day it was a Saturday, I remember. It was a really hot summer's day, and I was feeling so closed in. I felt like the walls are just coming into me.
Because you were there on top.
Yeah, and that's what
fell down.
Yeah.
You see, Pastor Douglas, many people, they were on top, and then they lost everything. And maybe you are just like her past life. You were there, you had everything, you have a good house, a good car, have a good life, have money to spend, and you lost everything. And you think it's over. It's not over. She found the power of faith, and her life changed. And her life didn't change yesterday. Her life changed a good while now. So let me tell you something. You that you are watching now, and you said, I need help. I want to come out from this life. I am down. I lost everything. Help is at hand for you. Help is at hand for you. But you have to take a step as she did. Cry out for help. Not because you lost everything, that means it's over. Maybe, as she says, Pastor Douglas, she was at home and she heard, you have how many minutes to
30,
go?
half an hour.
Half an hour to leave. Maybe you said, but I was not homeless. Because sometimes the person, this is not the issue. Maybe you said, I'm not homeless. But you received the news that you have just tonight, your relationship is going to be over. You have family member in the hospital, and you receive the news of this one is going to die. You receive today that you are about to lose your job. I don't know what is it that you are about to lose. But one thing I can tell you, whatever you lost or about to lose, faith can help you. Is it, Pastor Douglas?
Absolutely. Now, let me ask you a question, Vivian. As far as you can remember, what was the worst moment of your life? That moment where you realized you had hit rock bottom?
Leaving my house of, we'll say, luxury then, because I could travel anytime I wanted to, because I was in a job where I was earning good money. I lost that. No more travel, no more good life. And then from that, living amongst these murderers, drug users, all, you name it, these kind of people that lawless people. And then I was in that B&B in a little box with all my things around me in bin bags. That was my lowest point. And I looked around and I think, my God, yesterday I wasn't here. I was in my house. Now I'm here. And I thought, no. And then that point, I went to the bathroom. The bathroom, because I had like a shelf in the bathroom where you have all my medication and stuff. And I literally picked out a bottle to take an overdose because I couldn't take it no more. It was that bad. I couldn't take it no more. I said, what's the point of living? If this is what it's going to be, I might as well not be here. And then that day, I rang my counsellor, who I went for counselling for, and she said, I'm going to ring your GP straight away, and you go straight to your GP. I said, no. She said, how many tablets did you take? I said, I took a lot. And she said, you go to your GP right now. And she said, I'm going to ring them now, let them know that you're on your way. I said, no, because I can't move. So she rang the place where I was staying, the reception, and the reception rang an ambulance, and the ambulance came for me and took me to my GP while I don't know what they were doing, so by that time I must have been out of it or whatever. I don't know what they did to me. But when I kind of came through, I had the injections and plasters and things on my arms. They must have been taking blood and testing me. And they brought me to the hospital, and I was there for about, if I remember rightly, about 3 days. And they were testing me and trying to take out the medication out of me that I took. And then they assessed me again. But thank God, I know now, God must have had a plan for me, because they could have put me into a psychiatric unit or somewhere else, but they didn't. So whatever happened, God touched someone and took me out of that B&B, because the council wasn't going to help me, and put me into another unit where I could stay and sort myself out. But whilst I was there, because I knew I had a limited time there anyway, so I prepared myself, and I rang my friend and I said to her, because I had no family in London at the time, they were out of London, so nobody was local for me to go to straight away. Because that time my parents were abroad. My dad was abroad, but my mother had already passed away, and my sisters are out of London, like Birmingham and all them places. So I phoned my friends and I said, listen, I'm in this situation. Could you help me if it's a 1 night, 2 night, whatever? She said, yes, come. So I went there. So I ended up spending maybe a month or 2 there. And then I left that place. But while I was there, my son was living in another place because she couldn't take the 2 of us because of the limited space. Yep. So he stayed at his friends. Luckily, he had good friends. And so he stayed at different places at different times. Well, I did the same thing, staying at different places at different times. And one time I was literally sleeping on the floor with a sleeping bag. And I thought to myself, no, there's got to be more. I don't know what it was, but I jumped up that day. I don't know where the strength came from, because I never had the strength before. But I jumped up that day, and it was a hot Saturday, summertime. And I walked into Croydon just to get out of, not to do anything specific, but just to, to get out of that space, just to clear my head and to think. And I was walking around in Croydon, and I walked up, and I just saw a group of people handing out leaflets.
We're going to talk more about this. Right. We'll go to a short break. Please stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Vivian's story is very interesting, very intriguing. And when we come back from the break, she's going to be disclosing how her life has completely changed. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Finding Answers. Our guest of tonight's show is Vivian. Vivian is talking about her bad experience in the past, where she was sleeping rough. Not only Vivian herself, but also her son. And Vivian, well, we could openly say that she went through hell. It was a difficult time. She couldn't get help anywhere, even though she tried to. And she just disclosed here now that she even attempted to commit suicide. Now, Vivian, I've got a question for you. And that's what all the viewers want to hear. How did your life change?
My life changed. Amazing. as I was saying, I was walking, and I was approached, and someone offered me a leaflet of faith, and I was thinking, what's this? So anyway, I took it, and I read it, and I went home, but I still put it down. But something was like plaguing me, and I picked it up again, and I looked, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to give this a try, because what can I lose at the end of the day? I've lost everything, so I've got nothing more to lose. So I went to this place.
Sorry to interrupt you. Perhaps you're watching me now, and you've got nothing to lose. You've lost your friends, you lost your property, you lost your job, you lost your dignity, you've been losing your health, even your physical health is going down the drain. So you've got nothing to lose. So why not seek help? Why not give us a call? You've got nothing to lose. Actually, Pastor Neil and I would be very happy to book an appointment with you. You can have a one-on-one with Pastor Neil, with myself if you like. You can call. The number is 020-7686-6300. It's a Finding Answers helpline. You can call and you get the help you need. Now, going back to your story, Vivian. So you got that leaflet. You said to yourself, okay, I've got nothing to lose, so you went to the place of faith. Okay. What did you learn in this place?
I learned about using faith. Use your faith, because faith is in everything we do is faith. And if you haven't got faith, you're lost basically. For me, that's what I feel, because if I don't have my faith, I feel like I'm lost. So my faith brings me through everything. So when I went to this place of faith, listening to what the pastor had to say, and as time went on, gradually understanding, finding myself getting stronger and taking part in different, purposes, and listening to what they said I should do, I put them into practice, because I thought, well, if this is going to help me, I'll have to do it, because I want help. I need my life to change. So now I thought to myself, if I value my life and I want my life back, and now I'm going to have God in my life, it's going to be even better, I need to practice my faith and do what I've been instructed. So I took part of all different purposes, and from that day I started, my life has changed. Everything that I lost, I've got back, or getting back. But it was a process. It wasn't an overnight thing. I thought it was going to be overnight, but no, I was wrong. It's a process, and you have to have patience while you're going through the process, because some people want it overnight, and when they don't get it, that's when they start losing and going backwards. But you have to give it a chance and keep praying, keep fasting, and just keep praying and talking to God like He's your friend, your best friend. He's your best friend, because whatever God can give you, nobody can give you. And that every day, from that day even now, when I have a problem or issue, I go straight to God, whichever problems I have, and God just gives me my answer. And I know that God's given me my answer. So once I finish praying, you feel that kind of peace comes over you. So anyone that's in a situation that I'm in, just give God a chance. Just give Him a chance. Let Him in, and you'll find it without even realizing things are just working.
How is your life today?
My life is in an amazing place right now. I'm happy. I got my job. I'm not suffering from mental illness. I can't even talk. Right now, everything that I asked for, I'm getting from God, because I put my faith in action and I place my trust in God.
You haven't been sleeping rough, have you?
No homelessness, because the people that I used to look after mental health, people with mental health issues, and then I find myself in that situation with mental health. Now, all that's gone because of God and doing what I have to do, praying to God.
Do you sleep well at night?
I sleep well, too well, I think. Too well. I'm eating too much. I'm more than blessed right now. I'm blessed. I can't complain.
Well done. Congratulations.
Yeah. And my son's blessed as well.
Oh, is he?
He's blessed as well. His career, because he also was fighting as well. And he put his faith in God. And what he's prayed for, God has given him his answer and more. Mm-hmm. So he's doing very well.
So could you say now that your life now, your current life is much better than your previous life?
Yes.
Before you had lost everything?
Yes, because I thought I had peace and happiness, but I've got peace and happiness now, and I know how if I have a problem, where to go to, the place of God. Because before, I didn't know that. I was just going for money and buying things to get happiness. But that didn't really make me happy. But God makes me happy now.
Yeah, and the best thing of all is that whatever God has given you,
Exactly.
you're not going to lose it.
No.
You're not going to lose it
No.
as long as obviously you remain
Yeah.
in the faith.
Exactly. And you have to be sincere. Sincere. If you're not sincere when you're praying to God, you have to be sincere and mean it. And don't, when you pray for something or ask God for something, don't look for your answer today or tomorrow. Leave it. Once you prayed, leave it in God's hand. Because without you realizing it, you already got it. You don't realize until maybe that, oh yeah, I got this.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Shit.
Thank you very much, Vivian. I wish we could have more time,
Yeah, I wish.
because it's such an amazing story. Thank you. And I believe that your story has inspired and blessed
When we
many
just
viewers.
start to enjoy, we have to finish.
Unfortunately. Now we're going to be answering your questions. If you've got a question and you would like Pastor Neil and I to answer them here on air, we will be happy to do so. Just send your questions to help@findinganswers.tv. We will answer your questions now.
Welcome to our section, Your Question. We answer your question whenever you send. Don't be afraid to send us your question at help@findinganswer.tv. Hi, Pastor Douglas. We have a question tonight. What's the question?
Okay, let's read the first question here and try to help the viewers.
Yes.
Okay, the question comes from Alex from Peckham, South London. Is it possible to still be faithful but not go to church? Can you worship God in your own time rather than going to services? Well, Alex, yes, you can. I mean, you don't need to go to a church to worship or serve God. But now, it's important to understand this. What is the bridge, the connection between us and God? It is faith.
Yeah.
And faith comes by hearing. So, when you don't go to a church, that will teach you the Word of God, that will teach you the principles of the Word of God. So it's very likely that as days, months and years go by, your faith will get weaker because you are not giving, you're not nourishing your faith. You're not giving the nutrients to your faith. And remember, what is it that makes your faith stronger? The hearing of the Word. So by staying home and not attending a church, well, it's less likely that you will be fully focused on hearing the Word of God. And plus, when you try to hear the Word of God at home, there are lots of distractions. The dog starts barking, people come to your house, the phone rings, your neighbors knock at the door, and there are all these obstacles. Whereas, when you go to a church, to a faith-based church, and you sit to hear the Word of God, that will give a boost to your faith.
Yeah.
And then obviously, because your faith will be stronger, it will be easier to connect to God. So I think the problem here is not about going or not going to church, but how strong your faith is.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the question, Pastor Douglas. That's the big issue with many people. I don't need to go
To a church.
to serve God. But in the inside is where the word is passed. And there I have to go to receive the word. So, as Alex says, is it possible to still be faithful? Because it's like this, Alex. You are working and you might say, is it possible for me not to go to work and get my salary? No, you have to work.
Yeah.
You have to work. You have to go to work. So it's the same. I have to go to that place to receive the word. And this is the secret.
That's it. Yeah, I hope we answer that one. Now let's go to the second question, please. Okay, this question is from Kevin from Peterborough. The question is, will I be punished because I'm angry at God? Pastor Nido, you want to take that one?
Listen, Kevin, God. Pastor Douglas, some people, they think that
God is a punisher.
Yeah, he's a monster. if I hate him, he's
A
going
sheer dictator.
But God is not like this, Kevin. God is like this. He allows us to decide what we want. If I decided to, as you said, to get angry at him, what is going to do? He will not hurt me because I get angry at him. So if you get angry at God, God will not punish you, because God is, how would I say, is that God that he respects your decision. He respects what you want to do. So if you want to become angry,
I think there is a pretty easy way to make this, come across and be easily digested. Let's make this analogy. I don't know how old you are, Kevin, but if you've got children, okay, let's say you've got a son or a daughter. You love your children dearly, don't you? But if your child gets angry at you, okay, would you punish your child? No, you wouldn't. Okay, you'd try to make your child, see the situation from a different angle, from a different perspective. But if your child insists on getting angry at you, what can you do? But I don't think that as a parent you'd go there and deliberately punish your child. So this is what God is. God is a father. Okay, Kevin, so no, the answer is no. God will never punish people. Okay? So, well, I hope that we answered the questions, and we'll go to a short break, and after the break we're going to be discussing more about the issue of homelessness, and we'll be saying a powerful prayer for you. Welcome back to Find the Answers. Today we interviewed Vivian. It was such an amazing story. Pastor Neil, we could see through Vivian's story that there is nothing impossible for faith.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, when you hear what the lady, the place where she was in, and the place she is now, it's a huge gap. I mean, from being depressed, unemployed, lonely, suicidal, to becoming a happy, successful, employed woman. That's amazing. And the best of all, Pastor Neil, not only did she get back all the things which she lost, but now she's got peace, which she did not have before.
Yeah.
She was living a luxurious life.
Yeah.
She was, enjoying money. She was living fairly well on the external side of it. But inside she was cracking. She was dying. And this is the situation of many people. Perhaps you're watching me now, dear viewer, and you've got money, you've got assets, you drive a good car, you live in a good house, your health is quite good, but you feel depressed. You can't sleep at night. When you go to your bed, you keep tossing and turning and you can't sleep. You get these panic attacks. You only function if you take antibiotics. If you don't take antidepressants, you can't work. You've become antisocial. You become so low to the point where you can't hold a conversation. You can't talk to people looking in the eye.
And there are many that, even though, and I continue saying this because it's a fact, even though they're in this situation that we're talking about, they're not crying out for help. They are not saying, I need help. Some, even if you ask, how is everything? What do you think they will say?
Everything's fine.
Of course.
Or actually, sorry, you know what they'll say? Not too bad. Not too bad. But think with me, let's reason together. If I say to you, oh, I'm not too bad, that means that I'm not too good either.
Exactly. So, help is available for you. Call. 020-7686-6300. Help is at hand for you. Don't sit there and suffer. We are always available to help. That's what we said all the time. One day when we found the place of faith, someone helped us. And that's why we make ourselves available for you. You, sir. Yes, you I'm talking to. You, miss. We make ourselves available. So we are here for you that you said, I'm fed up. I need help.
You're going to watch to a testimony now, a short testimony, and after this testimony, we'll be saying a powerful prayer for you.
One issue that I used to really have was problems sleeping at night. For about 9 years straight, I would literally be having the same nightmare on and off, on and off. And it was a very weird but almost realistic nightmare. So it was like the area I would live in would morph into something different, and then I would end up being chased by black figures, like just running through my area. I would recognize like key spots of, where I lived in this nightmare. And so what would happen, for me to get to sleep, I would be rocking myself back and forth like my head, just so it would rock me to sleep. I couldn't sleep without music and the television on. So for me, it took me a very long time, and then before I knew it, I wouldn't know what time it is and I have to wake up and I'm going to school. And this would happen for on and off 9 years. And for me, it was very difficult because it got to a point where I was so scared to walk through my area. And there was a particular part of this area where in the dream, I would literally be faced with this big black figure, and it would chase me all the way back home. So because of this part of the nightmare, I wouldn't be able to go to this particular area in my own area. I wouldn't be able to go through that place. I would take another route, the long way round, just so that I wouldn't go to that area. Even in the dream, it felt so real. It's like I could almost touch myself and feel like, but I would wake up and I would know that, oh, it was just a dream. And it would always end the same way. So for me, it was like, if it's almost kind of repetitive, it must be real. And there was even cases where I would sleepwalk. So I would go to the bathroom, I would turn the tap on, I would knock down the bike in the corridor, I would do many things, but be fully unconscious of what I'm doing. All these things I only knew because my mum would witness me doing it, or she would wake up and she would see that the bathroom had been run. Once, me and my mum, we went on holiday, and we obviously had to share the same bed. And I ended up beating her up in my sleep. So she woke up with scratches all over her, and she was like, "Louise, you just attacked me at night." And I was like, but I didn't know. I felt so guilty inside of me. I was like, I would never want to hurt my mum, even though we didn't really have a good relationship the way that I wanted it at that time. I never dreamt of even hurting her. So when I saw that, I felt like a monster. But even though it wasn't me, I just felt like a monster. And even at times I would have dreams of like pushing my mum down the stairs. It was terrible. So for me, it was like, I didn't want to sleep. So when I went to university, things got worse because, late night partying and you're up all night or you're studying. So you become restless. And for me, the only time I could sleep was during the day. I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't. I'd be up maybe till 6 o'clock knowing that I had lectures, but I couldn't sleep. And it got to a point where once I was so tired that I completely passed out during the day. I missed my lectures, I missed everything, I was gone. To a point where people were so worried they had to break into my room. And they broke into my room and I was still sleeping. And then they woke me up, they were like, "Louise, like, where have you been?" And I was just like, "I've just been sleeping." And for me, that was really one of the worst moments for me, because it was like anyone could have just come into my room and attacked me. I was so vulnerable, I didn't even know what to think. Thank goodness it was, people who were actually kind of looking after me in a sense. But for me, that was one of the worst moments, and that attacking my mum at night, because again, I never would have intentionally ever wanted to harm her. But when I saw those cuts, it even hurt me personally, it did. There was nothing to tell me, oh, this is not right, this is not normal. It was just normality to me. It's only when I came to the church, I was coming to the Friday meetings, where I understood that, okay, these nightmares, these things that I'm doing in my sleep, it's not me. and I started to understand the roots behind it. And it's funny because even as I started attending the Friday meetings, I had these nightmares again. They came up. But the funny thing is, I remember the very last time I had this nightmare, because I remember I went that night just so kind of angry that all these years I had been experiencing it, and I finally understood what was behind it. So I remember doing like a very strong prayer on me saying, it's not gonna be no more. But that night I had the nightmare, but it ended differently, because usually in the nightmare, I would run to my house, I would be dodging all these dark figures, but I would run to my house and the door would not close properly. It wouldn't close. So it was a thing where it was like, I would close the door behind me, but you could see outside. It was very strange. But this very last nightmare, I'll never forget, the door closed. And for me, it was like I woke up believing that I had been set free. I knew that that was the last time I was gonna have that nightmare, and I didn't have it again. I didn't have it again. So from then, I started to have more peaceful sleeps. I didn't have to rock myself. Even now, I'm at a point where if the light is on, I'm like, turn it off. Like, trust me, it doesn't take long for me to sleep at all. I sleep peacefully and probably sleep too much sometimes, but honestly, I don't have no more nightmares. I don't sleepwalk. I don't attack people in my sleep. I'm not scared to go through that area. I'm free, so yeah.
One more testimony, one more case of somebody whose life was completely torn apart. Somebody who lost hope, who lost confidence. But through the genuine power of faith, the intelligent and biblical faith, this person has experienced a miraculous transformation, and the same can certainly happen to you. Hence why I would like to invite you, I would like to encourage you to use your faith, because listen, you have faith inside of you. I'm talking about a non-religious faith. I'm not talking about being a Catholic, being a Christian, being a Muslim, being a Hindu. No. I'm talking about genuine faith, the faith which transforms, the faith which moves mountains. You've got that inside of you, but perhaps your faith is a sleeping giant. But this giant can wake up now. Let this prayer wake up the giant which is asleep inside of you. Let's go now to the moment of prayer.
Prepare now for the moment of prayer. If you would like us to make a prayer concerning your family and loved ones, send your name and prayer request to help@findinganswers.tv.
My Father, there are many people that they suffer day, they suffer night. Some they are at the verge of just giving up. Just my Lord, like our special guest, she suffered. But today she can smile. And you are God. You are the one that through faith you transform the lives of people. And that's why I pray for this person right now that can't sleep. This person that lost everything. Everything was so good. This wife that lost the marriage, lost a family member. This man that just lost the job. My Lord, you are God, and you are the one that transforms lives. And that's the reason why you that you are watching right now, receive strength. Receive strength. You are there in the hospital. You can see the scream, touch my head or touch the head of the pastor. Be healed in the name of Jesus, because faith is power. My Lord, I present everything to you. Those, my Lord, that they don't know where to turn anymore. And I pray, my Lord, for this country. I pray for those who are lost. In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you, my Lord. Amen.
You have just taken a step closer to your victory. You need to believe and have determination. Be careful with what you say. Pastor Neil, if people just knew how powerful our words are,
Yeah.
because there is a pearl of wisdom that says life and death are in the power of the tongue. Whatever you say, this is what is going to happen. If you make a decision that as of now, you will not confess defeat anymore, you will not confess your weaknesses anymore. When people call you, when people bump into you and say, "Oh, how are you doing, mate?" Instead of saying, "Not too bad." No, don't say that. Don't ever say this again. But you should say, "I'm well. I'm well. I'm thriving." Even if you don't feel that way, verbalize your conviction. Because just as God used His word to create the universe and the planet out of nowhere, if you keep confessing what you believe, out of nowhere will appear your victory. Out of nowhere will appear the healing, the prosperity, the happiness.
That is it. That is it. That is it.
Okay?
We have nothing more to say.
That's it. Thank you very much for your audience. Stay safe.
This program is brought to you by UCKG.